Oh, that was Playbill.
Playbill. Yep.
It was Playbill. Yeah, as in a duck bill. Playbill. Yeah.
Hey, I think we're live.
Oh yeah, we're live. We're live. Live on
The Wizard and
Things.
Warrior podcast.
Episode
7-ish
11.
things.
Live.
Episode 11.
Yeah. What's going on this week, man? How you doing?
Good. Just did a little shopping last night.
Little shopping? Little shoppy shop?
Yeah, a little shopping. They had a special event at one of our favorite stores.
One of your favorite. Is this the high-end, well-known name brand store that sells things with their...
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of special event were they having?
It was just like showing off some new pieces come out. So they can like the new launch of all the new products and everything like that.
All right.
And so we were there and tons of people. What I get? I got a new laptop bag.
Nice.
I got a pair of sunglasses.
Nice.
And I got another pair of drivers, looking like a boss.
Nice. Dig it.
And so this is funny. So we're there and
It's story time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got to jump right into this shit. It was too good. So we're sitting there and everyone's being helped. They're having drinks and everything like that. God, 300 grams of sugar in that drink probably, and they were strong as shit.
They were. The store was serving. They brought a bartender, or they had sort of like a Jungle Juicy kind of like store.
Yeah, they had a plastic. No, they had drinks, martini drinks out. Then they had little small finger foods and things like that.
Okay.
And then they had there was one of the ladies was doing like painting, so you could get your stuff like painted and everything, which was dope. So I'm gonna get Scrooge McDuck on my bag.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
you purchase an item, they would turn around and give you some custom work on it.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
and it was really good stuff. So we're sitting in there, and Nikki overhears this lady telling one of the guys, she's like, "Oh, that girl's on all the kinds of supplements. Nobody looks like that."
They were saying that about Nikki?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Shit.
So Nikki turned around and she said, "I'm sorry."
Motherfucker said what?
Yeah. She was, the girl was pretty tall, pretty good sized girl. And Nikki turned around and looked at her. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you saying that I was on supplements?" She goes, "Yeah, well," and she goes, "Let me tell you something." She goes, "I'm not on supplements." She goes, "Well, there's no way you can look like that." She goes, she said, "Yes, you can." She goes, "You just call it working hard and eating right." She's like, "I own a gym." And then the girl was like, "Oh, well, are you telling me I need to lose weight?" She goes, "Yes, we all do."
Oh,
And then Nikki,
shit.
and the girl was like turned around and everything like that. Well, then there was a second person that was with them. And so they were acting kind of strange in there. They were looking at a lot of stuff. And, I was making a comment to my friend. I was like, "Man, there's a lot of, like, stuff out. Like, there are thousands and thousands of dollars in things laying out all over the place. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything, right?"
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, and we left. And we're walking, and we went to eat. We left at, like, 9 o'clock or 9:10. The store closes then. And those two were still in the store. Well, evidently, as soon as we left, one of the girls kept going outside, and like she had sunglasses on inside, and then she kept removing them when she went outside. She said she was pregnant and she was getting sick. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think she was pregnant. I think she had a purse in the front of her. But we left, and then our one of our ladies that works there, our friends, she sends me a text message. She said those two girls were bolted through the door and stole like $10,000 worth of purses and everything.
Yeah.
Last night. Pretty gangster.
Pretty gangster. So they were pouring martinis and special drinks and a whole heaping pile of haterade.
Helping, double serving of haterade. So here's the crazy part, right? There's cameras all over the place. You're on camera. You sold over $5,000. So now you're going to prison.
No, dude, I see this all the time. So I'm part of a couple of different community groups on Facebook. One here in my local community where I'm
prison.
7,000 some odd members. And there's a lot of people who post like, "Look out for this guy. He stole my package off my porch." The amount of doorbell phones, we call the doorbell phones, but it's Ring now.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, closed circuit television, stores with high res cameras now. It's shocking to me that people still think they can just roll in and steal some shit. I don't know if you saw this week.
What is
I
it?
watched this video online. It was a YouTube video. It was this dude decides, for whatever reason, this I think was in Monterrey, Mexico.
Where Topo Chico's made. Shout out to Topo Chico. Yeah.
Shout out to Topo Chico. This dude walks into a convenience store. It looks like a 7-Eleven style convenience store, right? And he's robbing the joint. So this kid, he's young. He's maybe
He's got like a gun. Hold on,
Yeah.
paint the picture. What
Yeah,
kind of
so-
is it like a shitty looking gun, or has he got like a Desert Eagle?
No.
.50?
So he rolls in. So first of all, he rolls in, and he's got a hoodie on. He's wearing a hat. He's got the gun. It looks like a pistol. It's a 6-shooter, not a 45.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing big. It's not a gun. It's not an intimidating gun outside of the fact that guns are fairly intimidating.
Well, I tell you, so I would sidebar that. I had a gun pulled on me once, and it was a 6-shooter, and I was more scared that it was like really old looking, and that it might like accidentally fire. That was my concern. Not that he was going to shoot me. It was that it might accidentally fire.
Yeah,
'Cause it was old.
I've actually had guns pulled on me many times, and I have a scar on my leg from a bullet wound. That's another story. But
Oh, did you just one up the shit out of me?
I did. I just won up
You
that.
fucking-
I've been in so many online debates regarding gun control, and eventually whoever's I'm arguing with, particularly on the sort of I want to shoot everything and anyone kind of side, they always say like, well, have you ever been shot? Thinking I'm going to say no. And I say, well, yeah, actually I have. And they go, well, then you should agree with me. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, so this dude rolls into this convenience store, right? Little kid, like looks like he's 18, 20, something like that. Backpack on, black hoodie, tiny little 6-shooter pistol, standing at the counter. And he doesn't look like he's buying anything. He just looks like he's chilling there. Is this sort
Looks
of
like
heavy
he's robbing the place.
Yeah, no. Heavy set, older dude, big cowboy hat, one of those, that Mexican cowboy look. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's called something like I don't know what it's called. There's a word for it though.
Yeah, so he's just chilling at the counter, like chatting with the guy or the lady behind the counter. Dude rolls in, pulls out his gun, starts pointing it, but he's reluctant. He's reluctant to point it. He doesn't want to point it like at their face. He wants to scare them, but it's clear right away he doesn't want to kill anybody. He wants to scare them because he keeps pointing the gun at them and then pulling it down and pointing it and pulling it down, and you can tell he's full straight arm, right? He doesn't have like a shooting grip. He doesn't have the right stance. He's just straight arm holding this pistol.
He
out.
basically like traded the GI Joes for this gun. Is what you're telling me.
Basically. Yeah. So he's keeping it, pointing it down. He switches hands with it. He grabs the barrel. Just really bad. I don't know how to use a gun. Desperation. Now, this dude who he's pointing the gun at initially when he walks in, the dude who's just chilling at the counter, this Mexican cowboy, he's a heavy-set fella. He looks to be about 245.
Oh shit.
He's an older guy, looks to be about 50 to 60, right? Behind him, you see in the background, there's the glass refrigerator cases. Dude in the background, or lady in the background's like shopping still as he comes in and pulls the gun. Finally, she comes around the corner, and he turns around and says, oh shit, there's someone else in this store. So when he turns around to point the gun at this other girl, Mexican cowboy strikes. Dude
Of course he struck.
jumps on him. A vaquero, that's it, a vaquero.
Yeah, vaquero.
Yeah.
Mexican cowboy.
Mexican cowboy just bear hugs him from behind, grabs the gun, yanks it out of his hand, starts wrestling with the kid, pushing him up against the wall. They're running down the aisle. All of a sudden, the dude from the back, like the deli counter dude in the hairnet and the white apron, gun's on the floor. He busts ass around the corner, picks up the gun, and then everybody's out of frame for about 4 seconds.
Never turn your back on a man in a cowboy hat who just asked you, like, dude, all right, he's getting him. He knocked the gun out of
so
his
they're
hands.
down the aisle. Guns on the floor. Now the dude, the deli counter dude's got the gun. They're out of frame. And all of a sudden, the kid comes back into frame. His shirt's gone because Vaquero fella has wrestled.
He
has
snatched him up by the face.
Yeah, tossing
Neck.
him around. And he's running out of the store. And as he's coming around and you see him beelining for the door, here comes deli counter guy again.
That's a different deli counter guy.
No, same fella. And
Look, because he has blue gloves on.
Oh, does he? No, I don't see. I think they both have blue. Are you watching the video now?
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
So the first one puts the gun in the front of his pants by his dick in order to shoot his dick off. What a dumbass.
Right. So
And the second one comes around and just snatches homeboy up by his neck.
yeah, and so deli counter and just plow. Yeah, two fists into his throat, slams him down on the counter. Yo, you're right, because the other deli counter guy comes back around with the gun still.
Right.
To watch, to subdue. He's still holding the gun. He puts it down the front of his pants.
I know. He's going to try to blow his dick off.
Oh, my God. So
Would you put a gun down the front of your pants if you were going to get in a fucking wrestling match?
No, that's the stupidest thing ever. But tense situation. My point, after watching that video, first of all, that's one of those links when someone says something like, guy tries to rob convenience store.
And then the most amazing thing happened.
Yeah, I click that link. I will click that link every goddamn time.
Because something amazing happened.
Yeah, and what I really wanted to see was, I didn't get quite, I wanted that second deli counter guy to just light him up, just plow through him. He holds on to him and pins him down. I wanted to just linebacker, Lawrence Taylor breaking Joe Montana's back blindside hit.
I'm talking office linebacker style.
Yeah.
Choo-choo! The pain train!
Yeah, see, you laugh, but you're not a football fan in the same way I am. And that video, you go back and you watch some Joe Theismann footage or Joe Montana's back getting broken by Lawrence Taylor. And
savagery.
Yeah, I mean, it's way more violent because you know those are real injuries and real hits. You can watch the office linebacker and you giggle, you don't cringe. But when you see Joe get hit, you see Joe Theismann. When Joe Theismann's leg kicks himself in the back of the head, you're like, oh shit, oh. And not only that, when one of the craziest things about some football injuries is that it happens, and the guy who hit him, the aggressor, looks down and just looks at the sideline and starts going, somebody better come out here right now. We need help.
Someone better help
right
this
now.
Motherfucker.
Mistakes were made. We may have over-escalated this situation, and now I require medical assistance to alleviate the guilt that I am feeling for breaking this man in two. So
he's like, shit, I didn't think he was going to go down like a bitch like that.
Oh, dude. It's
it's
brutal.
terrible.
So I don't understand how I get people are desperate. People are going to rob. People are going to steal. People are going to cheat. I get all that, but it's getting harder and harder to do. And I get that there's a stupidity quotient here.
Okay, hold on. So let me ask you a question. So if you would have been in this store and you happen to possess a certain set of skills, and then you see this go down, like, is it okay to like snatch a motherfucker up and just plow him on the ground and just start beating the shit out of him?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. So in this case, dude pulls a gun
so
in
this
a
was
convenience
hold
store.
on. Yeah, I'm fucking that dude. No, I'm saying this one. This is two women.
Yeah.
As a man, you can go. I feel like the rules are off. This person's a total fucking piece of shit and should get wrecked. I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna punch him in the face, but I think a good like leg kick or a body shot is acceptable.
Oh, you mean like after the fact? You've subdued him and you're gonna give him a little. Oh
no. I'm saying like, yeah, okay, possibly. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Okay, well,
but I'm fleeing the scene though. Afterwards, I'm fleeing the scene because I'm not getting sued.
I hear what you're saying, but so like take so you heard about the shooting at the Waffle House?
Oh, when the guy went behind the counter and just went.
Four people died tragically, and it's another horrible example of crazy ass people doing crazy ass things. But the dude, his name's James Shaw Jr. Shout out to that fella because that fella.
He's the one that saved the rest of them, right?
Yeah, that dude, that same fella. He is the Vaquero of that Waffle House, but in a much more meaningful, important way. No one died in that convenience store, thank goodness. And that dude in the white hat was the man in the white hat for that situation. But this dude, James Shaw Jr., not only is he cool, he's like, look, man, I'm not a hero. I was just doing what was supposed to be done in the moment, taking care of business, trying to save lives. 4 people died. Let's not lose sight of that fact, right? But talk about a stand-up fella, just risking it all to do something for others sort of selfishly. And this kid's I'm a parent. He's a parent, right? He's got like a 4-year-old girl. Just ridiculous. Like as a stand-up guy, and hopefully good things happen to that guy beyond.
Yeah, he was because they were interviewing him and he was like, "I'm not a hero."
Well, it's hard to be. I can imagine how difficult it would be to feel heroic in a situation where 4 people died.
Right. So he's like, "I'm not a hero." They were calling him a hero and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing. It's like I feel like if you break the rules. So remember, I used to play that Ultimate Line game, and whenever you would do something wrong, your name would be blue. But there was 2 other frames that it could go to. So if you stole from someone, because you could train like a thief skill, or if you attack someone, your name would turn gray.
So it was well known that you were a piece of shit in that game.
Well, as soon as you broke, it's turned gray for like a certain amount of time based on the crime that you committed. And if you had a gray name and you were gray to people, they could fuck you up with no punishment. So if you were blue, which is like a good man, right? If you were blue, what you could do is if you killed someone who was blue, you'd get a murder count. You got a certain amount of murder counts and your character would turn red. If you died, now these red characters were very fucking good. Like that was not someone you wanted to mess with unless there was 3 or 4 of you.
Right.
And because they were killing people and they would just find people and kill them and they would have, you would have to like leave your character logged in. But basically what I'm saying is, like, I still look at shit like that. Like, I've seen things where shit has went down, and when I used to work at another store, and and the fucking guy was running out of the store, bolted. I chased after his ass, and I fucking started whooping that ass. They're like, you can't do that. I was like, bullshit, I just fucking did it. What's he going to do, telling me? We ended up letting the guy go after he got the stuff back, because I guess apparently you can get in some trouble.
Well, you got your stuff back and then some.
Yeah, I mean, I had to teach him a little bit of a lesson. But one of our old managers was telling this story. He said the alarm bell goes off, a guy bolts, and so this is at a builder's square, so think Home Depot before Home Depot. And he was running out, and he goes, the parking lot ended, and it had like this slope. Well, Jeff was... God, he must have been like 6'8" or something. He was just like a really tall, like large person. He was a basketball player. He was pretty athletic. And he goes, I just took off running after him, and I caught him right on top of the hill, and I did like this jump move, and he did like a bulldog, the pro wrestling bulldog where they grab the back of their neck and push their face down. He did that shit to him. He goes, but the slope was rocks. And he fucking just skidded the guy's head down like the whole hill. And then they found out the guy had like $9 in like bolts.
Oh, shit.
And they were just like, I go, what'd you do? He goes, we took off running. We just act like nothing happened.
Jesus. Well,
but don't fucking steal. You're going to get fucked up.
Well, yeah, there's a quotient of douchebaggery that goes along with anonymity, which is to say that people act like assholes and pricks and horrible human beings online because they think they're anonymous. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens in everyday world. You'll steal shit because you think you're anonymously getting away with it. You'll steal packages, Amazon packages off of doorsteps because you think no one's looking. And it's catching up. And all of a sudden, here in my town, we got this board where all of a sudden someone's posting their Ring video of you stealing their package to a public website with no qualms about it, nor should they, right? That asshole he stole your shit. He deserves it. And
if I catch you stealing my packages, I'm gonna get some pliers out. We're gonna tie you up for a little bit. We're getting some pliers out.
Well, here's what happened to me recently is I ordered like nonsense. I ordered a cell phone case and a cable. It's like $9 worth of stuff. And I live in a condo complex right now. I'll be moving in a couple of weeks, but I live in a condo complex. And Amazon now, when they deliver, they take a picture of your package on the doorstep and puts it up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I get a notification that I got a package. I go outside, no package. I'm like, okay, somebody ganked my shit. I look at the Amazon app, picture of it. I look at the doormat. That ain't my doormat. So they delivered to now my complex is a little weird. There's 32 buildings and each one of them has 7 some odd units. So
right.
they must have delivered to another number 7. So I look at the doormat in the picture. I say, I will find this doormat and figure out who's got my shit.
I will find you, doormat.
Yeah.
Because you possess a special set of skills.
Yeah. I have a special set of skills. So I walked around my complex. Didn't take me long. I looked at the immediate number 7s in my vicinity, found the doormat, left him a little note. Hey, neighbor, looks like Amazon delivered my package to you instead of me. Could you bring it by? I get it back. Shit's open, rifled through, like the cell phone, the case for my cell phone, it's out of its package.
It's been tried.
It's like, geez. And the lady says something like, oh, my husband didn't even read the address on it and he opened it. I was like, if you ordered something. Come on now. You don't just get random free packages on them. You look at the address and you say, particularly if you're in a house where you're married or you got roommates, you don't just rip through a package. Merlin Love. What? Huh? Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Opening this shit. He don't know that it's here. Guess you got to reorder it. That's that anonymous shit. Douchebaggery to the highest degree because you think no one's looking. Everybody's fucking looking. Yeah.
And the fucking beatings are catching up to people. How you seen that shit where they put those gunshot things on the front porches? The shit just fucking like blows up at them.
Oh, I haven't seen those. That sounds excessive, man. I'm willing to draw a line. I'm not saying hurt people, and I mean, in the moment, if you catch someone like stealing some shit and you got to tackle them to prevent it, I mean, not 9 bolts. That's excessive, but
well, they didn't know it was 9 bolts.
Yeah, well, that's true. I'm not saying they were in the wrong. I'm just saying, the punishment.
All I'm saying is sometimes you got to whoop a little ass.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That needs to happen.
I will stipulate that fact.
So, what movies you watched this week?
Did
you watch that Operation Odessa?
I did not watch Operation Odessa, but speaking of whipping that ass, I watched the Billy Crystal, Gregory Hines opus, Running Scared, which I had not watched in a while.
Dude, I've looked at that like 4 or 5 times. I was like, oh man, I really want to watch this, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch. I got, I don't know, we had something else we were watching.
The script was bad.
It's a good fun movie though, right?
It's a fun movie. Billy Crystal is so shredded, and I read his autobiography some years, maybe 2 years ago.
He was shredded in that movie?
Oh, dude, he talks about how he got in the best shape of his life for that movie. He was not lying. Billy Crystal was tore up.
Dude, I'm Googling Billy Crystal shredded.
Billy Crystal shredded in like probably sub 8% body fat, and he's a tiny guy. He's not big. Yeah, he's like 5.
What's Running Scared?
Yeah, he's like 5'8". He's 5'7", is what he says. He's 70 right now, and so he was probably 5.
Yeah, he's got a 6-pack.
Yeah, he's probably $120 in that movie. Maybe he looks like he could be fighting Mighty Mouse. He's so tiny.
So when you told me that you were watching that Running Scared, I thought you were talking about the Paul Walker one.
No, I was talking about the 19. I've been on an 80s kick, so I watched that.
I know.
Last night I watched Oscar with Sylvester Stallone, which is based off a play. That's a fun one. I've
never seen that one.
It's silly. He plays a gangster named Snaps Provolone, and
it's on like Showtime or
HBO.
Maybe it's HBO.
Okay, yeah. Hijinks ensue. So it's just one of those kind of silly movies. Got a good cast. Chaz Palminteri's in it. Marissa Tomei is in it. Who else? Don Amici is in it.
It's a good cast.
Yeah, it's a super silly movie. It was pretty fun. And after that, I started watching, and I don't know why, it just happened, the Pat Morita, Jay Leno movie, Collision Course.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
yeah.
God. I got 5 minutes into that movie.
Is it so bad?
It's so bad. First of all, it's filmed in 4:3.
Interesting.
Yeah, and for our listeners who don't know, 4:3 is the television format from our youth and childhood. That is 4 width by 3 height in some sort of inches. So if you had a 20-inch television, it would have been 4 units wide and 3 units tall. So yeah, it was filmed in 4:3, that's a big deterrent right out of the gate. And then I watched 15 minutes of it, and Jay Leno is so bad. First of all, his hair is black but still gray, and I don't know that dude ever didn't have gray hair, I think is the answer. And it's so painful. The acting is so painful. But the car in the movie, the opening car, Jay Leno's a car guy, right?
Yeah.
But he opens the movie and he's driving an old Vet. It's I think it's a 55. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I think it's a 55 Vet. It's ridiculous. It's just a super nice car. So that was the highlight of him driving this.
That's the highlight of the movie?
Yeah, that was the highlight of the movie. Was him driving this beautiful Vet, but it was so bad. It was
so okay. So speaking of like dope ass cars in movies, I don't know. If you had to pick 5, like what do you think what is the best car in a movie?
So I mentioned that we should talk about this, and I said, hey man, maybe someday we should talk about cars in movies, because there's a couple of times this has come up.
Right.
And I was so excited about that topic I made a list. This is like 2 weeks ago. I made a list.
I didn't make a list. I just know.
Oh
I know the car that I would get.
All right, what's yours? Because I got a list.
It's the Turbo Interceptor from the movie The Wraith.
Yeah,
that is. Did you look at it?
Yeah. That's a crazy car.
So that is the company's called PPG, and basically there's only like one or two of them, and they were supposed to do like these body kits for them, and they were going to make new ones, and they actually had one, and they sold it for like 30 grand or something like that. They made like, it was like shitty. It wasn't like fully functional really. But that car has a V6 twin turbo. It was a souped up version of the motor that goes in the oh my god, what is it? The Shelby Daytonas.
Yeah.
So they totally changed the motor and everything. The car's so aerodynamic. It used such expensive a piece of equipment. It cost like $2 million to build one, and it did 195 miles an hour, and it only had like 600 horsepower. It was like insane.
Well, it probably weighed about $1.
Yeah, it was so like unbelievable. I had scissor doors that open. So in the movie, it's basically it's an alien that comes down. I won't give the movie away. It's a fun movie. It's not serious at all. Have you ever seen it?
No, spoiler alert. Captain America dies. I'm just kidding. I actually haven't seen Avengers. I have no idea if that's true. So if that's true, I'm sorry. That was a joke. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I really haven't seen the movie. I haven't read spoilers. I'm just fucking with people.
No, so this dude, he basically, like, the car races these people. So it's like this gang on these street racing, and they make you, like, they force you to, like, race them, and you lose. They steal your car. Well, this car is so fast, it gets out in front of them, and it parks sideways, and then they crash into it, and it blows up and goes into pieces, and then it rebuilds. So it's kind of like the Dukes of Hazzard. They had to, like, have all these fake ones, and so they had, like, 20 versions of them. They all blew them up. And so this company found one in someone's garage, like in a real barn find, and everything had some like Chevy motor in it. It was wild. But anyways, that's the car I would take. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's a dope whip.
Oh, that's a
I'd drive that. I'd drive that beast around.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid choice. I didn't even think about that one. That one escaped me. Sean Connery's final film, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
What else? What would you take?
Oh, so I got a list. So I got them kind of separated into a few different categories. Mm-hmm. So
if you say fucking Herbie's Bug, I'm
no,
disconnecting.
No. So I'm going to get the motorcycles out of the way. I picked two motorcycles right out of the gate. The motorcycle from Akira, which was recently featured in Ready Player One. That was super exciting to see because it was definitely one of my all-time favorite vehicles from a movie. Yep. And then I was going to take Prince's Purple Rain motorcycle too.
Sick.
Don't get my seat all wet. That motorcycle,
I can get down with that. Yeah. That's something I could get behind. That's a dope whip.
All right, my 80s movies category. I'm going to take Cobra's 1950 Mercury from the movie Cobra. That car was sick. I'm going to take the Tango and Cash truck.
Oh, that was such an awesome vehicle. So if you go back and look at that, the windshield goes all the way to the hood of the truck.
Yeah.
It's like a Yukon or something. Has the big chain gun on the side and had the awesome like 4x4, like, you know, those like standard like 15-inch wheels, you know.
Oh yeah, it was a ridiculously sick truck, and there's tons of shit online about this thing. It's a
really
yeah. It's they still have it. It's drives around. It's a working vehicle still.
SUV from hell from the movie Tango and Cash.
Yeah. 1988 C3500, and it's powered by a 454. It's a ridiculous car, and yeah, the windshield that better be like super tempered glass, bulletproof, because if you nick that thing, your whole windshield's fucked. It's a silly design, but it's a super badass car. So that's on my list.
It worked so well in that movie. That was
totally
so fucking awesome. It has the 80s, like the chain gun is like the fucking shit.
Yeah, of course. You pull a chain gun out, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and which one was that? Where it pulls Terminator 2.
Yeah, Terminator 2 kicks the desk to the window.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura, Predator.
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California from Ferris Bueller.
Oh, you mean the Fiero or no
the Spider
Fiat?
No, that's a Ferrari.
I know it's not a real Ferrari though. Oh. It's a Fiat.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
Batman's Batmobile, the original Tim Burton's Batman Batmobile.
Yep.
Not the Tumbler. I didn't put the Tumbler on my list, but I did put that Batmobile, that converted Vet. That's on my list. Mm-hmm. And my list is really cars that impacted me as a kid, right? Not all these
Yeah,
are
that's
high
fair.
performance cars. These are just cars where I thought to myself that would be badass to have. The same vein, the Ferrari from Weird Science, not the Porsche, but the Ferrari.
Right. The Ferrari one. Yep.
Yeah, that was a that's one for me that made an impact. Same vein, Dr. Ben Stone's car from Doc Hollywood that he crashes through the fence.
Oh, the
remember this?
Porsche.
Yeah, it's an old classic Porsche 356, the 1957 Porsche 356 Speedster.
So you know that the Porsche or the Ferrari in Weird Science is the worst one they ever made.
It's a shit car, but at the time
terrifying.
that was
It
my
was so
dream
cool.
car. Yeah, oh, it was so cool, and I couldn't figure out why why Lisa, that was her name, right? Lisa. Mm-hmm. Why Lisa made a Porsche, which felt very normal and pedestrian, and a Ferrari, where I felt it should have been in my mind, my adolescent mind,
A Lamborghini.
Lambo and a Ferrari, not a Porsche.
Well, so the reason probably why is because that was the V8 Porsche, and that's a 928. So that's why that same Porsche is in a Scarface, because this is when that 928 was coming out, and it's supposed to be the new one, and it was terrible compared to the 911.
Well, there was a lot of cars in the 80s that ended up being really terrible.
Well, no, but I'm saying that's why they did the push for that.
Yeah. And then rounding out my 80s category was very obvious, but the Bandits Trans Am. Now, not listed on here are.
Well, that's in 77.
Yeah, but they made them in the 80s too, and so I saw them when I was in the 80s. The Bandit 3 and
Okay, let me dip in the 70s for a sliver.
all right.
This is one of the coolest cars in the world, and Elon Musk owns it now. They found it in a storage shed. The Lotus submarine from James Bond, The Spy Who Loves Me.
Yeah, that car is ridiculous. That was on my 70s list, along with some cars that I moved to a slightly different list. Because
How come you didn't say the DeLorean?
The DeLorean from I did. That's my number one. Is the Back to the Future DeLorean.
You never said that.
Oh, I didn't get there yet. That's my last 80s. So
Sorry,
yeah,
homie.
that's my last 80s. Oh, I got one more 80s besides that. I'm sorry. And this is kind of an obscure one, but it's the car from The Last Starfighter.
Ooh, I don't know.
So
that.
if you remember the movie The Last Starfighter,
Let me look. Let me look it up.
the guy Centauri shows up in a car to pick him up after he wins, and it's this futuristic looking. It kind of looks like the Wraith car a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like the station wagon thing. So this is on the same vein of this, right? So this is, you have to post pictures of this stuff. This would be super hard for them to figure it out.
I definitely will.
But this looks like the P0 car from the Michael Jackson movie. Remember when he turns into the car?
Yeah, Moonwalker at the end.
Yeah,
where he turns into
Moonwalker.
Moonwalker.
Yep.
Yeah, so that car, the Michael Jackson car, the Knight Rider car, the General Lee, those all had impact to me, but I was sticking to movies, which is why I didn't mention those. So those are all
That's fine.
important cars to me, and Moonwalker it's kind of a movie, but it's kind of TV. And by the way, there's a website out there called the imcdb.org, and that's the Internet Movie Cars database,
Holy crap.
where I found some of this information. So I got those are my 80s. Back to the Future, Tango and Cash, Starfighter, Batman, Ferris Bueller, Cobra. 70s, I'm going to add the Mad Max Pursuit car. I'm going to add
the
Bandits
Interceptor.
Trans Am. 80s is Ferrari from Weird Science. And then I have a category that kind of spans all eras, and this is all Mustangs. These were all Mustangs. I ended up freaking like, oh, what about that car? I was like, oh, that's a Mustang.
Hold on.
What about this
Let
car?
me
It's
say
a
one.
Mustang.
So Dazed and Confused. I love that 1969 GTO Judge.
So
I love that car.
there's a bunch of these. So there's the fastback Mustang from Gone in 60 Seconds, Eleanor. There's the John Wick Mustang.
Yep.
There's
Bullet.
Yeah, phone ringing in my background. There's the Menace to Society Mustang with the Daytons.
Is that like a real phone?
Yeah, man. I got I Amazon that shit. An old school black tabletop phone with an old school ringer. You hear that shit?
I know, it's insane. Okay, keep going.
Hold on.
Please hold.
And the crazy thing is that I've had this phone through my DSL line for a while, and I've had a phone number for 2 years, and I've never plugged a phone into it, and I finally plugged a phone into it and immediately started getting spam calls. Just immediately. Like, we'd love to lower your PG&E bill. I'm like, dude, how did you get this number? I don't know.
Oh, dude, I know one you missed.
What's that?
So there's actually two times this, but we'll say this car. So basically, it's a 1980 Lamborghini Countach LP 400S, and so that is the special one that has the double spoiler on the front. So it has a spoiler on the very front of it, and then one on the back, and that's from Cannonball Run.
Oh yeah, for sure,
But there's also another one where it's a super iconic scene where the oh my God, what's the movie called? I can't. I'll figure it out. But it's basically where the Lambo at the very beginning, it's running from the police, and then it skips across the water. Yeah,
well,
it's popping up here.
Here's what I got for you. I got Lamborghini.
It's called
Jay Leno's Garage.
Speed Zone. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I've never heard of that movie. Oh, I see it. The red one.
Yeah, it
Lamborghini
skips right across the water.
Speed Zone, 1989. I have not seen that movie.
Are you shitting me?
I've never seen it.
It's basically a Cannonball Run ripoff.
That's a movie that's dying for a remake, isn't it? I think Brewster's Millions, we talked about that last time, is dying for a remake. Cannonball Run's another movie that I think is dying for
we've got the cars now.
But, oh my God. But then you go back and look at the plot of Smokey and the Bandit, where you weren't allowed to drive Coors. It was Coors beer past the Mississippi or something like that. Because the boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and you're going to get it there no matter what it takes. Yeah, that movie is about them going and picking up a shipment of Coors beer and driving it illegally across several states to Atlanta. Can you imagine how that was the law then? You couldn't transport beer across state lines. This is like 40 years ago.
Oh, shout out to the 911 Turbo Porsche Bad Boys.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
Boy, was that a sex machine.
That was a great car.
Good God.
But I didn't even finish my Mustang list for you. So I got the Fastback Mustang from Gone in 60 Seconds, the John Wick Mustang, the Menace to Society 5.0 with the Daytons, the gold Daytons. I got the all-terrain Mustang from Thomas Crown Affair. There's a scene where they go down to the islands for a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And
then they have
yeah.
You know, that's one of my favorite movies. And then they have this 6-wheel Jeep behind it.
Yeah, sick
So that's a Shelby. So that's a Shelby GT350.
Right, but it's
like a ridiculous car, and then it's lifted. It's awesome.
Lifted, all-terrain, roll bars, welded doors. Yeah, the whole thing. The Mustang from Bullitt has to get mentioned because that's just one of the most sick cars ever. And then I got a weird one, and it's a bit obscure, and it's not even that nice of a car in the movie, but it impacted me, and that's the Mustang from Cherry 2000.
Nice.
It's just an old beat-up Mustang in a post-apocalyptic society that they're driving around with it's got a tow cable on the front, like a Jeep-style winch and tow. That movie, it felt nice. And I recently learned that movie took place in 2017. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, shit. So speaking of that real quick, hold on, I got to segue back to something. So I watched The Running Man 2 nights ago.
Yeah, you did.
And that takes place in 2017.
Yeah, of course it did. But
going
that shit's
back
going
to
on real. That's for real. It's just we call that shit Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right. That Mustang in Menace to Society, that's what I had in high school.
Wouldn't it be fun if you were watching an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something, and all of a sudden someone died, and Kim Kardashian turned to the camera and was like, Sub-Zero! No! Total Zero!
No, yeah, Total Zero. Just fucked him up.
Okay, was that my list? I got 2 more cars on my list from the 90s. I got Ice Cube's Impala from Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
Sick car. And then here's my favorite on this list, and I can't articulate why it's my favorite. It just is. And that's Play's truck from Kid and Play's Class Act.
Yeah, the S10.
Yeah. That truck with the lifted, the hydraulic bed. That was
sick.
That was a sick car. That movie was fun. I think the movie's 1992, but that one in particular, I don't know why.
Well, that was the whole thing where they were doing the hydraulics on the beds back then.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted a mini truck and put some rims on it. I had one.
Yeah, so solid. Oh my God.
So
that was everything I had off the top of my head as I was sitting in on the train, just thinking about movie cars that I wanted, that I would love to take with me. This is when I die. This is what I want.
So you didn't mention one, and I know people don't like the movie, but I love the cartoon, Speed Racer, the Mach 5.
Yeah.
That car is sick. There's a real one. They made one
Yeah.
for the movie.
I know they did.
But that impacted me when I was a kid, right? I loved to watch that cartoon. My mom would like record it for me on a VHS tape. Get a load of that.
Yeah. All right.
Does
so
anyone on the call know what a VHS tape is?
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you said you watched The Running Man, and I had this idea that I wanted to run by you. When you told me that you were watching The Running Man, I started reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's filmography, and I was trying to figure out, just kind of like off the top of my head, I was trying to think for myself, what's the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? And I know best is a subjective term. So what I wanted to know, and so when I mentioned this to you, the limitation here is that there are many movies that Arnold Schwarzenegger has done since he stopped being the governator of California. And there were some movies he did prior to Conan the Barbarian, such as Hercules in New York.
Right.
So I've omitted those. I've decided that really we're talking about the golden era of Arnold, which starts with Conan the Barbarian in 1982, and for me ends at Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, so
that's 2003, so we're talking 82 to 2003.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you, it's basically 21 years. I'm going to give you the movie. You give me a score, 1 to 10. I will score it 1 to 10, and we will figure out both what your favorite Arnold movie is and what my favorite Arnold, and what the average is. Sound good? Good with this?
Sounds good.
Shouldn't take long. So start with Conan the Barbarian. What's that for you out of 10?
Shit.
And don't be afraid to give 10s.
I'm gonna give it a 10. That's an unbelievable movie. Unbelievable.
Yeah, for me that's a solid 9.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like that one.
I do too. It's one of my favorites by far. I think it's a great rep.
All right, you know what? Because I'm gonna back mine down to a 9.
All right.
Because it's not my absolute favorite.
Okay.
But that is a solid 9. Conan
the Destroyer.
Okay, I like the movie, but that movie's like a 6.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna stick with you on a 6 on that one because it really the lizard guy at the end scared the shit out of me as a kid.
It did, but it's so bad. I liked when he was fighting when he fights the wizard. It's like a pro wrestling match.
Well, not only that, but you go back and watch Conan the Barbarian. It holds up pretty well. Destroyer does not.
No, it does not.
It does not. All right, the first Terminator.
Oh, well, I like the second one better. But that's because, that's like saying that Rocky IV is your favorite movie when it's clearly not the best one. So, I'm going to give the Terminator, the first one a 7.
7. I gave it a 9. I think it's the better of the two. Better film. Terminator 2 is amazing, but I think it's up there. Commando.
That's a 10.
You don't need a knife, John.
That's a 10. There's
no
question.
I don't need a knife.
I can tell there's probably going to be a 3-way tie here. That's a fucking 10.
That's a 10.
I've ever seen one.
Hell yeah, Bennett.
What'd you give it?
Put the knife in me. I'm gonna give Commando a 10 for sure. That's one of my favorites. It's so silly. I'm gonna give it what is it? I eat green blaze for breakfast, and I'm very hungry. There's so many good one-liners out of the
Green Beret gonna kick your ass.
Red Sonja. This is one of my favorite conceptual movies because, particularly in the world that we live in now, where the MCU has been building this connected movie. Captain America dies. I'm fucking with you guys. I still haven't seen it. But Red Sonja is a comic book movie, and Red Sonja exists in the Conan universe. But apparently, when they made Red Sonja,
Calidor.
Yeah, when they made Red Sonja, they couldn't get the intellectual property for Conan. So
it is Conan. 100%.
So he's Conan.
We all know that.
Yeah, and they renamed him Calidor. So it's Conan 3, but is. Bridget Nielsen. Ernie Reyes Jr. is in that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a higher one for me. I really like it. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it gets a 7. It would get a higher score, but there's a horrible R scene at the very beginning I don't like.
Yeah. It's a brutal scene in the beginning of that movie.
Yeah, that's
80s style brutality where they pulled no punches, and you go, guys,
I was trying to get Nikki to watch this, and I was like, man, I gotta skip this beginning.
Yeah, you got to turn that one down a little bit. And
And
some
the
of
plot's kind of fucked up, but the cool thing is like the wizard and stuff and the tiger and all that stuff is fun.
I feel one of the main differences between things that happened in 1980 and things that happened in 2018 is that we have more people willing to turn to us and go, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" And people go, "What do you mean?" And you go, "Dude, you're creepy or gross, or you can't. We don't need to see that. It's not plot relevant." Or
I don't want to see anything like that.
Yeah,
Someone's
it's
like, I heard of horrible. I don't want to say it.
well, the other one that I'm thinking of at the time is the movie Excalibur. I think it's 1978 or 81, something like that. And there's this scene where this girl does this sort of there's a naked sex scene with this girl, and then you do a little research and you realize it's the director's daughter. And I want to turn to the director and go, "What the fuck is the matter with you, bruh?" Like and I feel that's the main difference. And particularly coming off this Cosby verdict yesterday, where dude is going to prison finally, thank goodness.
No shit.
Oh my
God.
God.
It's like the same. It's like, why would you put your own daughter in a sex scene in a movie? Like, what is it? Is this gonna like boost her career?
Right.
Are you fucking nuts?
Yeah, it's just super creepy. So I feel that.
Well, who would be okay with that as a parent?
Well, apparently he was, whoever that director was. But and nowadays, I feel not only is the Cosby verdict great, but I feel that there's probably quite a few gentlemen above the age, between 50 and say 100, who were looking around going, oh shit, because I got into some shit in 1975 or 1985, and that
sure.
and deservedly so. That dam might be broken open. All right, Raw Deal. I watched this one fairly recently. I didn't like it. It wasn't my favorite.
This is the Russian one.
Yeah.
No, that's Red Heat.
Red Heat is the Russian one. Raw Deal. Did I watch Red Heat recently? Hold on. Which one's Raw Deal? Raw Deal is former FBI agent turned small town sheriff agrees to help FBI infiltrate the Chicago Mafia. That's Raw Deal. Mafia movie.
Is that the one you watched?
No, I watched Red Heat. I watched Russia.
So that has like the bathhouse scene in it. He's like throwing them out the window and they're all in their towels.
So Raw Deal. I know I've seen it, and I know I remember so little of it.
I didn't care for it. Yeah, I'm gonna go like 5.
That's what I get. I'm actually not even. I'm gonna go 3 because I can't justify anything high. It's so unmemorable to me, and it's so not in the. You've got. Let me put it this way: you got Terminator, Commando, Red Sonja, Running Man, Predator.
Okay.
And right in the middle of that is Raw Deal, and no one remembers it.
Cash grab.
Yeah. Running Man.
10. No struggle. That's definitely one of my favorites.
I'm gonna give that one a 9.
Really?
Yep.
When's the last time you watched it?
Probably in the last year. It's good.
So
it's real good.
You know the scene in the airport when he's running?
Yeah.
And they shoot him with the net?
Yeah.
So he fucks his arm all up. So Arnold really did that because in the previous scenes, when he's in the apartment, his arm is all fucked up.
No,
because they
that.
filmed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but I'll look for it.
Yeah, it's got this big he's got this rug burn like a asphalt rash on his arm because it was fucked when he tuck and rolled.
Okay.
Dude, it has one of the best scenes when they're going to the airport and she's like, "I'm gonna throw up." He's like, "Well, you can go ahead." She says, "I'm gonna throw up on you." He goes, "It's okay to throw up on this shirt. It's not gonna matter." He's wearing like that ridiculous classic 80s Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Predator.
10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one. That's a high on my list. Red Heat, I enjoyed it.
7.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I didn't enjoy it that much. Twins.
I like this one.
I do too. I really like Twins. Bad to the bone. Oh, yeah.
That is so good because he's like trying to. Danny DeVito's like, "I got all this shit genetics."
Danny DeVito makes that movie too.
He does. He does really good in it too. I'm gonna say. I gotta say an 8.
An 8 on Twins. I'm gonna go with you as an 8 on Twins too. Total Recall. That's a 10 for me.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, I gotta say Total Recall is a 10.
All right.
It has triple boobs in it. It has the 2-week scene. He pulls a bug out of his nose.
Yeah. Speaking of which, don't, for our listeners, the Ish Army, 100-ish people, do not spend any amount of time on DeviantArt unless you want your brain mushed. I was looking for something, and I was looking for a G.I. Joe picture, and the sheer amount of hand-drawn cartoon pornography is so staggeringly disturbing. And so
That's horrible.
I'm sure if you type in Total Recall, I was thinking about you said the 3 boobs, and I was like, I'm sure that's in there. I'm sure that there's
for sure.
just a shit ton of, and there's some great, amazing art on that website, but there is definitely some people with an outlet for some craziness.
Oh, can I go back one? Can I get Jack Burton's semi truck? Because if I have
the Pork Chop Express, you want the Pork Chop Express?
It would just be hilarious. Like I was that you I was talking about? I was saying daily drive in a semi truck. It's just your restaurant's not semi truck friendly. I'm kind of pissed. Where am I gonna park?
Well, Ryan, when some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, takes the back of your favorite head up against the bathroom wall, looks you crooked in the eye, and asks you if you paid your dues, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right. Kindergarten Cop.
I like Kindergarten Cop. I got to give it a 7 though. I mean, it's like it's a fun movie, but
it's what it is it's not a tumor. Terminator 2.
Exactly.
T2.
An 8.
An 8. Wow. I'm also going to give it an 8.
I like the movie, but I mean,
highly underrated film. Last Action Hero.
Dude, I just watched that. I really
it's really good. It's really good because it's both tongue in cheek and serious. It's a really interesting, underrated movie.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I really enjoyed it.
I'm gonna give it an 8 too. It's one of those movies that I'll watch.
The thing I think that was the problem with it though is the bad guy was so like Ripper. He was so disturbing to look at.
Well, for sure. But you also have the guy with the one eye. Mm-hmm. You know, like there was some really solid, and it was.
You mean Tywin Lannister?
Yes. That's right. It is Tywin Lannister. Oh, and he's also
Golden Child.
Yeah, Sada Noomsby.
He's the Noomsy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Junior.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
One. I hate that piece of shit.
1. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I was so fucking pissed off when we went and saw that. I was so pissed off.
True Lies.
Really like True Lies.
Love True Lies.
I gotta give it an 8 though.
That's a 9 for me. Jingle All the Way.
Watch it every Christmas. I'm gonna give that an 8.
I'm gonna give that an 8 too. Eraser.
Sinbad is phenomenal in that movie.
Sinbad. One of the few times when you can say that too. That Sinbad steals the movie. Yeah.
When he looks at him, he goes, "Shut up! No one likes you, booster."
You can say Sinbad steals the movie for Jingle All the Way, and you can say he steals the movie in Necessary Roughness, and that's all you get.
Very good.
That's your whole Sinbad discography right there, a filmography. Eraser.
Oh, remember I forgot to say this. So remember we were talking about Tone Loc in the movie The Posse?
Yeah.
So one of our listeners wrote in, and he said that his sister has a kid with Tone Loc, and he's back on his child support.
His sister has Dose Loc?
Yeah, has Dose Loc. Says the dude's a dirtbag and is like really far back on his child support.
All right. Well, shout out to Tone Loc. Pay that
shit,
baby
Tone
mommy,
Loc.
Homeboy.
Unless you want the 100 dish after
We'll send the rest of the posse back after you. All right. Eraser. Highly forgettable movie for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, but it's not like super fucking terrible.
No, I think that's the one that has the rail gun.
Yeah, it can see through the walls, remember?
Yeah.
It is kind of a railgun, I guess. I'm going to give that a 5.
All right. I gave it a 6. You gave it a 5. All right. I'm actually going to switch down to 5. You convinced me.
You taking your tip back?
I am. Batman and Robin.
It's so fucking bad.
It's
so fucking bad, but it's not as bad as Junior. No, I'm going to give it a 2.
You give it a 2. All right. End of Days.
I really like this movie. I think it's a fucking awesome movie.
All right.
I think that's like I like that type of shit, though. I think it's awesome the devil's in there, and he's fucking terrifying. He's just, like, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Shout out to the red guy. I'm going to give that a 9.
Shout out to our loyal listener, Satan. You give that a 9? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I really like it.
I'm going to give it a 6. I enjoyed it, but not that much.
Well, I like the It reminds me of it's in the same vein as Constantine. I really like Constantine.
I loved Constantine, but I thought ended as well. I thought Constantine was better. The Sixth Day. I really like this. This is the one with the clones, where you don't know that he's a clone.
7. Long pause.
Yeah, sorry. 7 on the Sixth Day. I'm gonna agree.
What are you going?
I'm gonna go 7. Yeah. I'm gonna go 7 on the Sixth Day. Collateral Damage. Firefighter movie? No.
No.
What's Collateral Damage?
That's the one where
I saw that one in the theater.
Hold on a second. See, well, obviously we don't really remember this one.
Yeah, firefighter movie. After his family is killed by a terrorist act, a firefighter goes in search of the one responsible. Yeah, he's a firefighter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say highly forgettable because I don't remember seeing it. I'm gonna go 5.
5. Okay.
Fuck it. I'm going to 4 because I definitely don't remember this movie.
Okay, I remember it, so I'll give it the 5. I'll take that little tip back. And then last on our list, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
It just sucks to see him get his ass whooped like the whole time.
The whole movie.
He's just getting beat up by some like chick. I mean, I know she's more powerful, but like
Christina Loken, and who did a great movie, a great television show on Sci-Fi for a season called Painkiller Jane, which was awesome.
Interesting. I'm gonna give Rise of Machines a 6.
6. I'm gonna go lower than that. I'm gonna go 4 for me. That one didn't blow my skirt up.
All right, I'll take a 5.
Oh, you'll take a 5.
Me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now you got some reconciliation to do. So give me what you like better between Commando and Running Man.
Shit. Commando and Running Man?
Yeah, you got to pick between those two.
Wow. It's got to be Commando.
Commando? All right.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't pick that Bronco. Or that, what the fuck is it? That Blazer. I always made a joke about the Blazer from Commando.
Oh, yeah.
When he pushes it down the hill, it's like, that's the movie car you want. And then, like, the bad guys are driving, like a Chrysler van. It's like...
Or Sully's Porsche. Remember the one that told you that I would kill you last? Yeah, that one.
Because it repairs.
Lied.
It repairs itself.
Okay, what do you like better? Predator or Total Recall?
Predator.
Predator, okay. All right, what do you like better? Predator or Commando?
Wow. What do you like better?
I'm not doing me. We're talking about you right now.
Oh, sure, me? Okay. Predator. I have it like in so many different forms. Blu-ray on a old portable PlayStation disc that I bought was super expensive.
And what do you like better, Running Man or Total Recall?
Running Man.
Running Man. All right. I've got your top set up now. What do you like better, Conan the Barbarian or End of Days? I think I know the answer to that one.
Conan.
Yeah, that one makes sense. Okay. What do you like better, Twins or Terminator 2?
Twins.
Twins. All right. What do you like better, Terminator? Do you like Last Action Hero or True Lies?
I gotta say, Last Action Hero. Actually,
all right.
I really liked that movie.
What do you like better, True Lies or Terminator 2?
Shit. I mean, they're not even in the same, like, you know what I mean? Comedy, kind of action comedy. I gotta say Terminator 2's a better movie. Right. No, True Lies. Dude, they make the guy piss his pants. Okay. Yeah.
True Lies. And what do you got between Twins and Last Action Hero?
Twins.
Twins, wow. Okay. And let's do that. Okay. Digging it. You're looking good here. What do you got between Terminator 2 and Jingle All the Way?
It's got to be Jingle All the Way because I've seen it like 500 times.
Okay.
Like I said, we watch it every Christmas.
Terminator and Red Sonja.
Terminator 1?
Yeah.
Terminator's better.
Terminator's better, okay.
The R scene kills it for me. I'm sorry. If we can delete that, like I can get an edited version.
All right.
And the plot of Red Sonja is a fun movie, but the plot's kind of goofy.
Red Heat or Kindergarten Cop?
Red Heat.
Red Heat. All right. And what do you like better, Terminator or Red Heat?
Terminator.
Terminator. Wow. Okay. Kindergarten Cop or The Sixth Day?
Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop. All right. You got that one fine. Raw Deal or Eraser?
Eraser.
Eraser. Okay. And Raw Deal or Terminator 3?
Raw Deal.
Raw
Definitely.
Deal.
I feel like we got a raw deal with Terminator 3.
All right. I have your definitive list. Are you ready?
Yep.
So this is what you say. And you see if this feels right. This is based on your scores. Your least favorite movie is Junior.
Yep.
Batman and Robin, Collateral Damage, Terminator 3, Raw Deal, Erasure, Conan the Destroyer. So this is basically out of 23 movies. So you got your definitive rank here is, there's 23 some odd movies. Your number one with a bullet, Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Feels right?
Yep.
Your number two, Commando. Your number three, Running Man. Then you got 4 at Total Recall. Rounding out your top 5 is Conan the Barbarian. Then you go to End of Days, Twins, Last Action Hero, True Lies, number 10, Jingle All the Way. So your top 10, Predator, Commando, Running Man, Recall, Conan, End of Days, Twins, Last Action Hero, True Lies, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Internet arguing commence.
Come at me, bro.
Come at you, bro. By using our cumulative scores, Predator still number 1, Commando 2, Total Recall 3, Running Man 4, Conan 5, True Lies 6, Twins, Last Action Hero, Terminator, Jingle All the Way at 10. It's not
so
bad.
We're really we're pretty much almost in agreement.
Yeah, I think so. I think I wonder if I pulled the IMDb, just out of curiosity, you think Predator has a higher IMDb score than...
Well, hold on. Let's see. Which one do you think has the highest one?
Out of all these movies, probably Terminator 2 or...
Total Recall?
Maybe Total Recall. Predator, 1987.
Total Recall is a 7. Total Recall is 7.5.
Predator is 7.8. So we might hit that. Commando says
6.7.
6.7.
Do not agree with that score.
No.
Total Recall is 7.5.
Total Recall.
Terminator is probably the highest one.
The first Terminator?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. The first
Terminator 2 is an 8.5.
Terminator's an 8, and Terminator 2 is an 8.5.
Terminator 3 is a 6.3.
Yeah, that jives.
Twins is probably like a 6. Yeah, 6.0 for Twins.
So we're mostly in agreement, but the cinema universe steps in and goes, hey, man, Terminator 2, Terminator, those are...
Conan the Barbarian, how do you only give that a 6.9?
It's kind of, it's dated, but interestingly enough, True Lies, now that I'm thinking about it, because Terminator 1 and 2 are both James Cameron movies, and so is True Lies. So James Cameron movies, the man can make a movie.
He can.
Up until hopefully that holds true for Avatar 2, 3, 9, 12, whatever's next.
For sure.
We will see.
When's that supposed to come out? The remake of basically Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The first Avatar movie didn't blow my skirt up, frankly. It didn't.
I liked it.
It wasn't.
But
it didn't move me. It was good, but it didn't move me. It was Pocahontas with creatures on better animals. Had a little bit of a white savior feeling to it. Like these people needed a white knight to save them. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What about it's totally Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, they even looked like Indians.
Yeah, there's definitely that it's a Western on another planet for sure. It's the march of industrialization on a tribal people. I mean, yeah, there's definitely that scoping element to it that we've seen that story a bunch, but it's still that idea that these people needed a white savior to save. That white savior thing is it. We don't realize how until people start to point out the sheer volume of similar themes that we do unconsciously. It's hard for us to notice them, and then people start pointing them out and go, "Oh yeah, you're right. There's like that's a common trope in movies and books and television and so forth." The hero.
Did you take Alpha Brain?
Yeah, I did. I try to take it before every show. I took it right before we started recording, so it's probably going to kick in.
I convinced you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, that stuff, they're not a sponsor, so I'm not advertising, but I get a lot about whether or not that stuff works. Does it work for you?
That's the same thing. They said, "Does it work?" And I said, "Here's what I'll tell you." I said, "Even if it doesn't work, I think it works."
Well, that's a proven scientific thing. The placebo effect is
powerful.
Yeah, it's super powerful. The placebo effect is oftentimes just as powerful. A good example is I'm reading this book right now on mental health and depression. It's a very interesting book so far. And one of the things that it points out is that if you actually get into the science of SSRIs and antidepressant medications, many of them don't have a impact beyond the placebo effect. The placebo effect is just as strong as the drugs themselves.
I don't know what you're seeing people take. I've seen some shit that zonks people out.
There's definitely some zonking out shit. I'm not saying there's not, but some of that stuff. And if you're interested, you can read the book that I'm reading, which I'll be happy to tell you the title of as soon as I find it.
So going on that same placebo effect, I hurt my wrist in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And
you
like,
hurt your wrist or someone hurt your wrist?
Combination probably.
Who made you cry, Ryan? Who made you cry?
Eric Payne.
Eric Payne. His name was Payne?
Yeah.
Dr. Payne made you cry.
I used to call him the dentist. Because he's like, I'll take someone's teeth out.
That's funny.
He was crazy.
Or the book that I'm reading is called Lost Connections by Johan Hari. Johan Hari, Lost Connections.
Not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah. Whatever. If you're interested in reading that book, that's what it's about.
Well, hold on. So I when I hurt my wrist, it was just bothering me, right? It was just like the little tendons in there were sore, and I put on one of those like magnetic bracelets. You know what I mean? Those like, remember those like the Q-ray bracelet things? I didn't have one of those, but I had this just like little magnetic one, and it made it feel better. Whether it did or not, I don't care.
Whether it actually had some sort of physiological effect doesn't matter. It made you feel better.
Doesn't matter. Made me feel better. So regardless of it, I'm cool with that.
Cool. Okay. Dig it. Yeah. Well, the placebo effect's well known. It's there's a billion scientific studies, because if you do a real scientific study, the double blind, the scientists, the people who are doing the study don't know which patients are getting the drug or the supplement and which patients are getting a placebo, and then they measure the results, and oftentimes placebos are also effective. It's the human brain's fascinating in that regard, but for me, Alpha Brain, absolutely. I've taken other nootropics too. Nootropics in general help me find words that I'm missing, that I'm reaching
That's
for.
proven.
That stuff I feel in a big way. Often, if I don't take it and I'm in a meeting or I'm trying to be articulate, or I'm even writing, because I'm a novelist, is one of my many hobbies that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. When I'm writing, I'll go, what's that word for that thing that I'm looking for? And if I take Alpha Brain and I've had enough sleep, that's another one. Is that
sleep is a big factor.
No amount of Alpha Brain can overcome a shitty night's sleep. And coffee, like a nice stimulant in there too. But yeah, the Alpha Brain just in the middle of the day, if I've had the same amount of sleep, like a standard 8 hours and a cup of coffee, I can tell the difference whether or not I've taken a nootropic or not.
It's tangible.
For sure. And I'm willing to bet that if you go back and listen to previous episodes of this podcast, you can tell which ones I've taken it on and which ones I haven't. Because there will be more of those rhetorical pauses in my speech where I, what, like, or I go and I'm looking for a phrase and I can't think of the phrase, so I pull a familiar one, which is
there you go.
Things like for all intents and purposes.
Pectin-based fruit spread?
Or pectin-based fruit spread. Exactly, where I get excited and I can't naturally articulate a new sentiment, so you go to something that you've created.
You go to something that you're trying to say, that you go to something that is basically, that's your jam.
Yeah, that's my jam. Absolutely.
That's right.
That's my pectin-based fruit spread.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For sure, that kind of stuff. Oh, you know what else is really helping me this week is I finally got off my fat, lazy ass and went down to the
Working
gym.
out?
Yeah, twice. So I have reasonably significant, severe lower back issues, and it's the really fun thing about having lower back issues that's not acute, that's not an injury that heals, but consistent, persistent lower back issues. I have something called spondylolisthesis, which is the wings of some of my vertebrae have broken off, and so my spine
like
kind
AIDS?
of floats. No, it's not.
Is that AIDS?
It's less. It's actually less annoying than AIDS, but it's annoying nonetheless. Isn't it weird that in our lifetime, AIDS has gone from a death sentence to a chronic disease?
Or you don't even know anyone who has it, and then supposedly there's all these people?
Well,
dude, I think you should put your tinfoil hat on.
Well, you go back and look at that Chris Rock thing where he says, no one's curing AIDS. They're just going to figure out a way for you to live with it. Damn, that dude was prophetic. Mm-hmm. So I got these lower back issues, and you go to a doctor, and they say, if you want your back to hurt less, like you've got structural issues, so it's going to keep hurting. But if you want it to hurt less, you need to exercise more. And you go, but it hurts to exercise. And they say, yeah, we get that. Counterintuitive. You got to do it anyway. You got to fight through the pain. So I do that, and then it hurts, and then I do that, and it hurts.
Did you just say fight the pain, fight the power?
Fight the pain, fight the power. So earlier this week, I went swimming, and if I hadn't...
How'd that work?
Well, if I hadn't fucked off yesterday when we were supposed to record, I would have gone swimming today, and I still will. I'll go swimming in a few hours. It was great. I had been swimming a million times in my life, but I had never swam laps. It's dedicated, specific laps, and lap swimming is hard as shit. Jesus
Dude, that's no fucking joke.
Christ, it's hard. It is by the time you get tired of my lats from doing freestyle stroke, my lats started burning, and if you don't, in your everyday life, you don't use your lats. So all of a sudden, like, my sides are so...
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but those of us who work out too.
I said in your everyday life. When you work out, you specifically target them for sure. But in your everyday life, you really only use your lats when you reach up to the top shelf or something, or you put something up. You got to reach up. And you don't really do much of that in your everyday life. So my lats were burning. I was tired. I was sucking wind. My legs hurt. So part of my back problems creates hip problems. So my hips were sore. Swam. I was so fucking tired. I got out. I felt way better.
So you're telling me that your hips don't lie?
My hips do not lie. And they are foul-mouthed assholes who yell at me a lot.
Jesus.
So I felt great. And then I got that second day soreness where I was dying, just fucking dying. And then I had what I would lovingly call an incident, which those who have persistent, consistent back issues experiences now and again, which is where you do something that is otherwise...
You shit your pants?
No, it's just otherwise completely mundane. You reach for something, you move in a certain way.
Oh, okay.
And it feels like someone came up behind you and stabbed you, and you just fall to the ground. And the other thing that people with back issues will tell you is don't ever go to the ground. Don't go to the ground, you can't get back up. I happened to be in bed during this incident. I just kind of rolled over to grab a remote off my nightstand, and something in my lower back slid, and I went, oh, shit. So that happened, and then that happened 2 days ago, and I was I have a wide variety of very lovely, decorative and useful functional canes. So I had a cane on Wednesday. Today's Friday. I had a cane on Wednesday, walking around because I couldn't keep myself upright otherwise. And then yesterday, I didn't need the cane. I was walking around reasonably okay, but pretty ginger. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I feel like this is stupid. So I took a handful of ibuprofen, 4 for those who are concerned about my liver health. I took 4 ibuprofen, 800 milligrams. And I went down to the gym and I shot hoops for a little while. And the ibuprofen kicked in and I loosened up and I felt really good yesterday. Like I felt, like really loose, really good. I'm hurting today from just being sore from shooting around yesterday, but I feel much better. So my doctor will be pleased that I'm getting off my fat, lazy fucking ass and getting a little exercise in. So that was
interesting.
Yeah, I got to get back to it. You know, I don't live in Austin with you guys and your Transform Fitness stuff. By the way, shout out to Christina Malik for winning the Transform Fitness 6-week Transform Challenge. And sending over some referrals. That girl lost inches and body fat. She was slaying it in the gym week in and week out. So much so that I heard about it 2,000 miles away when I had a chat with you guys going, who's killing it? How's the gym going? And you guys were like, this girl.
Mad hustle.
Just hustle. So that was exciting. And Transform Fitness always taking care of us with providing the things, including great stories for you and shopping at those famous high-end specialty retail stores. Yeah.
Hey, can I add the APC from Aliens too, or Aliens to my list?
Which one?
The APC from Aliens.
The APC.
The truck.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's got to go on there.
No,
too.
that shaped your fucking childhood. That thing was amazing.
Yeah, that was really good. It's not on my list though. I mean, it's definitely a memorable car, a vehicle, I guess, but it's not. It's really not on my list.
That's all right.
Like the motorcycle from Terminator 2, that's a memorable motorcycle. You know, I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Dude, Bill Paxton's at the beginning of that.
Bill Paxton? Is it the beginning of...
He's one of the punks.
Oh, man, I don't remember
Right
that.
when he lands in the second one, he's Bill Paxton. He's one of the punks.
I don't know.
Look it up.
Watching that movie Collision Course with Jay Leno, they have these
That
pictures.
just fucked you all up, huh?
Well, they had these pictures. So Pat Morita's Japanese in that movie. He was Japanese every day of his life. But he's from Japan in that movie. And they have these pictures of to set up the plot. And one of the pictures is of the same guy who played Saito from Karate Kid Part 2. And then I started to remember that Japan in the 80s for us was so wildly foreign. It was so foreign. It was an alien planet to us in the 80s. And the movies reflected that. Gung Ho, Mr. Baseball.
Yep.
Those movies presented Japanese culture as something that was so completely wildly different than ours in such a way that it was a foil for both our American exceptionalism and our deficiencies as a culture, where because if you go back and watch Gung Ho, the Japanese culture was particularly presented as efficient and efficacious in regards to how they built cars and with zero fucking around and on task.
It still looked at like that.
Yeah, but through yelling and screaming and tearing down their employees. And meanwhile, you got George Wendt, you got Norm from Cheers on our side, drinking a beer, doing a half-assed job, and then they meet in the middle. But that's the way that Japanese culture was shown. Baseball and Mr. Baseball was shown that way. And I think we just forget that. I was watching this movie and getting that same feeling of, oh shit, it's Mars, right? We looked at Japan as Mars in the 80s in the same way that we looked at Russia, because we didn't have Russian culture.
You didn't really have the internet, so that was basically like, unless you're looking at a book, I mean, a movie was basically your only way to see it.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
That's why they got away with so much shit, because they're like, well, these people don't fucking know, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah, for sure. And we still get a little bit of that. Today was a WWE pay-per-view from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and first thing that I did when I turned it on this morning was kind of look around at the crowd, because I didn't know what to expect. And it's in this beautiful, ornate, gigantic, looks like a soccer stadium, and the crowd just looks like any other WWE crowd. right? They really didn't feel any different. The floor was
there was the guys in the beginning.
well,
And the front rows were the sheiks and stuff.
yeah, the front rows were set aside for the Saudi royal family. So just the immediate section of the ring, there were these sort of plush leather chairs that were empty for some of the earlier matches. So that was different. But the crowd itself, the kids in the audience, I think one of the lessons that the internet has taught us is that what we see in movies and the way that other cultures are portrayed in movies is not
always true.
Not always true. The people are people the world over, and there are shitty people everywhere. There are good people everywhere. There are certainly enthusiastic WWE crowds screaming for John Cena everywhere.
John Cena.
Yeah, that poor fella. Did you hear about him? He's fucked up, man. He looks like shit.
What happened?
He and his girl broke up after he proposed to her at WrestleMania last year, and apparently they broke up, but no one knows why. And he even had to acknowledge it. He's like, hey, regardless of what's going on in my universe, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be a part of this. And I was like, dude,
he seems like such a good dude.
I don't know. He made her sign a 72-page contract to move in. These are my house rules. Yeah, he seems like a good dude until you start getting into the nitty gritty and you go, oh, he's got some intimacy issues for sure. I think anybody who sort of as a, like, I think that
it's hard. Okay, let's say this. It would be hard to find true love because of who he is.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
He's John fucking Cena.
Yeah, you articulated that much better than I did. And I think it takes a very specific type of person to be with, and that type of person might not be the type of person he's necessarily attracted to. So that makes it even more complicated. The Rock had his baby this week, and you see him and how he interacts with the world, and that things seem to be working with his girlfriend, and that she must be not only the type of girl that can be with a guy like that motor running up at 5 guy, but she also has to be the type of girl who he wants to be with, because he's The Rock, man. He can be with probably anybody he wants to. So, yeah, I think you get that big and it gets that crazy all the time and people are pulling at you from 10 different directions.
Well, then you have to find someone who's equally as big or is in the same industry, and then it's kind of like, that shit never works, because then it's like it's secretly competitive and like.
Yeah, I think one of the odd examples that crops up now and again is Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, where they seem to work. He's a bigger star than she was, but she's still pretty big in her own right. She's not a nothing name, but apparently they also have like an open marriage, so they can fuck around all they want as long as they eventually come home at the end of the day, week, or movie shoot.
Jeez.
It works for some people.
Maybe that works in that type of rich crazy.
That's what I mean. You're in
that's
rich crazy.
Fucking rich crazy.
And yeah, when you get into rich crazy, or you get into whatever, I think that works for a lot of people. I think a lot of times people end up in relationships with people who aren't necessarily 100% right for them, or they're not even 90% right for them. The Venn diagram of relationships looks like 2 circles with just a little bit of overlap instead of one blurry circle. And I think, for example, I think you and Nikki are basically like one blurry circle. You guys have interests that go beyond each other, but for the most part, you guys overlap in a lot of great ways, which is why you work.
Right.
I think that's true of me and my
girl. We do everything together.
Yeah, I don't do everything with my girl, and we don't like necessarily the same things, but it's probably 90% overlap, and that works. But if you got 10% overlap, if you say to yourself, I love him, but I wish, and then you start laying out some really severe fucking things. I wish he had a better job. I wish he had a better attitude. I wish he wanted kids. You got some fucking problems. You're going to run into some issues. And so
dude, you're sitting there like, damage report.
Yeah. And if the 10% is so important to you that the 90% is something you're going to chase, and one of those 90% things is that we don't necessarily have to have fidelity in our relationship. I don't care about this. He can go fuck whoever he wants as long as he's with me or he's my husband at the end of the day. More power to you, man. I don't begrudge anybody who's polyamorous or
whatever they choose.
Whatever they choose. Do whatever.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah. Do what makes you happy, people. What else you got? Anything else?
We were talking about the food. We're talking about steak. So last night I had a tomahawk steak.
What's a tomahawk steak?
It's a giant fucking ribeye with a huge bone on it.
Oh, one of those big fucking
I get it every time.
Salt Bay's ribeye.
Yeah, so I send you that picture of Salt Bay? Those are behind him. Those are all the tomahawks.
Yeah, they sell them at my local grocery store that has a really good, nice butcher, high-end meat department. And
They sell them at Costco, but they don't have. They cut the bone short. I want more of the extravagant bone.
You want the big bone.
This bone is like 2 feet long.
Yeah, you want
it's a big rib bone.
You want it to be ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because I eat the meat around the bone, almost all of it, and then I take it home and then I give it to the dogs, and we give them a certain amount of time, each of them with it.
Just you cut them off with a stopwatch?
Shit, you want to see? Yeah, you want to see some fucking shit go down in the Whole Foods parking lot.
Do they sulk when you take it away?
They get fucking pissed.
That's awesome. Do you walk up and you're like, "Fuck you, dog," and take that bone?
Yeah, like a little bitch slap in there.
Yeah.
No, basically it's like they look at you like, I'm not gonna smack.
You would never smack your dog. I'm talking to my ish army out there. Don't smack your dog.
But no, they look at you like they do that thing where they kind of look you up and down, and you're just like they're about ready to make a move.
Oh, like you motherfucker! Am I about to bite your shit? Am I about to? Because I know where some meaty shit is that's right in my reach, and I will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I don't own dogs, man. I'm not a dog guy. I'm not a cat guy. I'm not a bird guy.
Do you have a fish?
No, I don't want a fish. Fuck fish.
You used to have a fish, didn't you?
Fuck fish. One of my kids here has a fish. I hate that fucking fish. I don't.
It's still alive?
Yeah, it's actually like a goldfish from a carnival game.
Like 10 years ago?
Yeah, a feeder fish, and he lives. He continues on. So, yeah.
So what kind of, okay, so if you had to you could eat any kind of animal, right?
Like consequence free.
Yeah, consequence free. It's not like factory farming. Like you got like a hookup.
Well, maybe
to,
maybe
eat
here
these
I
animals.
want to make it really consequence free. So let's say that a lab can grow whatever type of meat you want. No harm to any animal, no harm dies, right? They can go, oh, you want a lion steak? Here's the chemical composition of a hunk of lion.
I got you.
It tastes just
woolly
like
mammoth.
A lion. Yeah, woolly mammoth, whatever you
Remember
got.
that woolly mammoth they found in the snow? I'm like, man, cut that bitch up. Let me get that tomahawk from that thing.
Yeah. So in that case, like, what would I would definitely try. So I would try.
Hold on. What's the best meat from an animal that you've had?
That I've had?
Yeah.
Probably elk. I had some elk. I went to this fondue place in Banff, Canada, up in the Rocky Mountains, and we got a hot stone meal where instead of a big bowl of oil, they give you a stone heated to about 500 degrees and a big plate of wild game. So it was elk and venison, wild boar. I think there was some beef on there too. And you just throw your little butter on the stone to grease it up, and then you throw the elk on there and sear it real quick. Basically,
dip it in like soy sauce, like a soy sauce kind of.
They had all sorts of stuff. Yeah, that was really high on my list as a piece of meat.
Elk is phenomenal.
Yeah, elk as an animal,
probably the best. Kangaroo.
I've had kangaroo. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't bad.
What are you talking about? I made kangaroo spaghetti.
Yeah.
At work, I brought it to work.
Yeah,
one time.
I brought kangaroo in a few times at work. The ground kangaroo. I've had burgers. It's pretty good.
It's super red.
Yeah,
super red. Good, really lean meat. I don't know what their steaks taste like though.
Yeah,
probably really good.
I've had steak. I had bear once. Bear was okay. Wasn't.
Well,
great.
supposedly you're supposed to eat like grizzly bears and things like that. Like aren't very good, but like black bears.
Yeah,
like
the
when
blueberries.
they're in season, right? When they're in the seasons with the blueberries. I was telling you about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard that on Rogan's podcast. He was talking about this. And then the meat's like purple, and that's when you want to shoot them and then eat them.
I don't want to shoot them.
I don't want. I'm not gonna fucking shoot it, but let's. In case people don't know this, bears are fucking terrifying cannibals.
Oh yeah, they're horrible creatures.
They're horrible, horrible creatures. They are not Winnie the Pooh. They are not Yogi fucking Bear.
No, they're terrifying monsters in the woods that will kill their babies if they can't eat you.
That is.
Oh, I couldn't eat that person, so I'm gonna go ahead and just eat my bear cub.
The number one thing that they like to eat is baby cubs.
Well, baby cubs are delicious. I mean, you don't have any children, but I've had several, and I only have 2 left. The other,
Okay,
the other
so
3
hold on
I
a
ate.
second. So like if you could,
I didn't eat my
if you
babies.
could like
Jesus.
ethically source babies, that's what you would eat?
No, I'm not eating if I could have a lab grow some human meat, I'm not eating human. I'm not eating babies. I would definitely eat anything that was an herbivore
Wait a minute.
mammal.
Hold on.
For sure.
Hold on. What if the lab made this and told you it was elk, and you actually found out that it was like human thigh, but it was like the best thing you've ever had?
Well, after the fact, they're like, "Oh, by the way, that wasn't elk. That was some Joe meat." My next question would be, which nationality? I would like to know where in the world you grew that meat from, just for the sake of diet.
Right.
I want to know,
Yeah.
is this a rice eating culture? For example, I've got Norwegian heritage. I would much rather eat someone from a rice eating culture than a fish eating culture, because I feel it's the same thing as a bear. You eat animals that eat a lot of fish. Apparently the meat's greasy. You taste a little fishy. So if you ate me, I think I'd taste a little fishy. I ate a lot of fish. But if you ate, you know what? I want it to be, here's what I want.
I'm just trying to think to myself, like, what exactly does AIDS taste like?
No, here's what I want. If you grow me some human meat to eat, I want it to be some extremely unhealthy vegan. That's what I want. I want a vegan who eats a bunch of fat. I want olive oil and avocados, and I just want that. That's what I want.
No.
I want a vegan.
No.
That's what they're good for. That's what veganism is for, is to feed us when the
feed
world
us when
goes to
shit goes
shit.
down.
Yeah, when the world goes down and everything goes to shit, eat the vegans.
Interesting.
Well, what are they
All
going to
right.
do? They can't grow it, right?
No, they can't. What about, let's see. I bet zebra's probably pretty dope.
I would
It's
eat,
kind of a horse, though.
so I've eaten horse. I've had horse.
Oh, yeah.
I had it in
what is
Canada.
called? What is it called? It's called something.
I don't know. I called it horse. I didn't have a steak.
No.
I had ground horse. It was pretty good. Apparently in
It's called
Quebec you can
something
get,
else.
which is where I had it, was in Quebec. But you can get steak, horse tartare.
I like tartare.
I love tartare. I love tartare. Well, okay. So
It-
what are you willing to eat tartare? Like your lab.
Everything.
Really? Like someone
Yeah.
comes to you and says, "I've got some water buffalo tartare grown in
Fuck
the
yeah.
lab."
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I try.
I told you I've got a friend in South Africa who has like 5 different gaming preserves. He's part of the big 5 game preserves. He's like, you can hunt anything you want. I was like, well, I don't really want to kill it. I just want to look at it. He's like, well, we can go do that. And I was like, yeah. He's like, tell me to come down there. And
He's like, boring.
yeah. I was like, all right, if I'm going to kill it, though, I said, I want to shoot it with a bow. So I've got to practice. This is one of the things I'd wanted to do, is get good with a bow and kill it, because you need to be so good with this. You know, you can't miss. And it's just I think it would be, if that was ever going to hunt something, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
with bow.
well, yeah, and
He hunts everything with bow. He shot well, I don't want to tell you what he shot.
yeah, but we can all guess what you were gonna say after that.
No, he shot a lion.
Oh.
But
Rest
there's
in
a
peace,
reason
Cecil.
for it. Yeah, the reason why he had to hunt the lion is because the farmer next door to his property, the lion was pulling these sables. Sables are like these big, like beautiful impalas, and they're worth crazy amounts of money. And the lion was so big that it was pulling the sables through the fence. And so it was like a nuisance.
I think you're getting
so
your
what-
animals mixed up, because I just googled sables and it looks like a chinchilla.
Like a sable antelope.
Okay, hold on. I found a tiny little.
Type in. By the way, a chinchilla will fuck you up.
All right,
Those are mean
I
as
found a
shit.
sable antelope. You were right, but a sable by itself, without the word antelope, looks like a chinchilla.
Little tiny thing. Yeah.
Yeah, sable antelope. Very majestic
So-
looking thing with quite the animal.
Very delicious meat. Very majestic looking. They're worth like big ones. He said he has one that has like 48-inch horns, and it's worth like $250,000.
Wow.
But anyways, we won't jump all balls deep in that. But he had to hunt this lion down. He said it took us all night to hunt it, and he shot it with a bow. And he's just
What
like,
did he do with the meat? Did he give it to like village? Because I know that a lot of times when
Yes.
people do that lion hunt, they end up giving the bush meat to villages and things like that.
they give it to the villages. They gave everything. He kept the skull. But yeah, he was telling me all about it. He says has the largest head that's ever been hunted.
Jesus.
And he was telling me all about it. He's got this thing. He's a big dude.
I don't want to kill a lion. It makes me
No,
feel
I don't want to
weird.
kill. It does make me feel weird. I don't want to kill anything. But if it happens to get killed, I'm going to eat the meat.
Yeah,
I think that's only fair.
Look, I'm a meat eater. I like meat too, and I don't hunt, and I'd like to because I feel that I think that there's a certain respect to going out and getting it yourself, and also
Absolutely.
en masse. If you're a vegan, this is a question I don't know the answer to, and I'm gonna have to find the answer. But if you're a vegan, is the life of a mouse equal to the life of a cow? Like I'd like to know that question. And if not, how many mice are equal to the life of one cow? Can you kill 10,000 mice for the life of one cow? So I have that question because.
Well, there's the same as like bugs and stuff, right?
Well, yeah. So I don't know about bugs, but I'm willing to just go straight into tiny little fuzzy cute creatures, right? So how many mice are worth the life of one cow? How many mice, rodents, rabbits, varmints are killed in factory farming for things like lettuce and wheat and things like that? So if you go into a pizza place and you get a pizza with no cheese, a vegan pizza, right? No cheese, tomato sauce, a bunch of vegetables on top. How many animals were killed for your wheat and vegetables that you're putting on that thing versus going out?
A fucking lot.
Yeah, versus one elk that you eat for a year and grow your own vegetables to go along with it.
Dude,
So I don't know
those
the answer to
fucking-
those questions, and I'm very
it's a
curious.
lot. It's a scary, scary, scary amount.
Oh, for
of stuff
sure.
is killed
Yeah.
in those farmer fields.
I know it is. I know that those animals get killed, but that's the question that I don't understand the answer to, is that if you're trying to really minimize your impact on death, then you would either you have two choices, and the most ethical way to cause no death while you're eating would be to eat eggs from someone's chicken farm where you know the chickens are
Right.
raised humanely. No, nothing dies in that exchange.
I would love to have chickens.
Yeah, grow your own vegetables. So those two things you could do and eat really ethically, but if you buy produce or meat at the grocery store, you're engaged in factory farming. And then otherwise, if you just want to if you're willing to accept that you're going to cause the death of a certain amount of creatures for your meal, then the most ethical way to do that would be to kill the least amount of creatures. And the best way to do that, in my summation that I can think of, is to kill one giant animal, one elk, or even if you go to like an organic pasture farm and you buy a quarter cow or a half cow for $1,000, and you put that meat in the freezer and you eat it for a year. That's one death versus tens of thousands of rodents. And so that's the question of that ratio of how many animals are worth the life of a cow is what I'm curious
You're
about.
talking about like the crazy ones. Like not all vegans are.
I'm talking
crazy.
about anybody who chooses to eat vegan for something other than health reasons, other than I'm trying to lower my cholesterol or anything like that.
I concur with that.
People who are protesting that dude in Toronto, people who argue online about being vegan and that it's the most ethical way and how can you eat animals and et cetera, those people. That's who I'm not saying they're wrong. It is a lack of information I have in regards to, is the life of a rat, is
Right,
the
you're
life
just
of a
asking the
bunny
question.
the same as the life of a cow? And if not, how many bunnies equals one cow? Because I'm still willing to bet that if you eat anything with weed in it, you've killed more bunnies than that ratio. And so I don't understand that argument. I don't understand. I've got a friend who can answer that question for me. I think more intelligently than anybody else, and I just haven't had a chance to ask
I
him
just think that you need to check your male privilege. How dare you ask that question?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, hey, man, you always got to be self-evaluative and check your privilege, whatever it might be.
Where do I put it? I'm not really sure where to put this.
Where to put your privilege?
Where do I set it? Is there a place I set this down, or is it like a coat check, or what?
There's a closet that you hang it up in, and it's where you keep your polyester suits and your Aquanet and your what else you got in there? You got your Zoof.
I'm 100% sure that like somehow if you brought this up that this would be coming, it would be going back to that in some way about how you're a man. So,
I don't know.
like, I'm gonna start losing this argument, and I'm gonna throw out like, "You're a man. How dare you?" Like, what? I don't have any idea. I just asked a question.
I actually got into a crazy argument once about the Ghostbusters remake. About me arguing specifically that all they had to do was drop one line, and it could have kept canon, and it would have been part of the broader story.
Yeah, you've already talked about this.
So I got in this argument with someone who basically at some point in that conversation just accused me of being anti-woman. Like in the middle of that, of me trying to make the point about
that's
canon.
the cop-out.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to make a point about canon, and they were just like, so you don't like women? Women can't be funny? And I was like, whoa, that's not what I was saying at all. The movie was funny. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't like that it wasn't part of canon. And I said the majority of people, because the movie wasn't the success that they'd hoped it would be. So a large group of people, I don't know if it's a majority or a plurality, but a large group of people felt in a similar fashion that it did not live up to the hype, and that doesn't make anybody necessarily anti-woman or anti-feminist or even didn't like the movie. They just didn't like it in the context of the canon of Ghostbusters.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
people.
I
feel
won't
the same
even
way
jump into it. Yeah. Well, yeah, they've said a lot of people have said that they made the men like stupid. Like the men were all dummies.
I was fine with all of that. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted someone to drop a throwaway line that said everything else that we watched and loved for 40 years or 30 years happened. That I don't have to ignore that.
That's it.
That's all I wanted, was that this is a continuation of the story. Which, by the way, they did for Ocean's 8, which looks awesome, the Sandra Bullock Ocean's movie. That is a continuation of the Ocean stories with one throwaway line of something like it runs in the family, and that's it. Otherwise, they have nothing that, as far as I know, nothing to do with the Ocean's 11.
What the hell is Ocean's 8?
It's the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13.
Ocean's 8?
Yeah, it's new. It's coming out this year.
New.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock.
But when is this taking place?
It's taking place now. It's modern times. Like
okay, so this is a continuation of all them. So Matt Damon's in the movie.
So yeah, they've got a little bit of a connection to the other. They've done the due diligence to make a connection to the other movies. So you acknowledge that happened.
How hard was that?
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy to me is that in a world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe where we want it all to be in the same universe, we want crossover, we want those connections, that you would make a decision that goes, this is a totally independent new version of a story that has nothing to do with the other story. Why? Like, that's the question I don't like, and it's not. Anyway, so I got accused in the middle of making that point of just being anti-woman. I think wrongfully so, but I'm sure that person in their mind thinks that I'm crazy. Like,
dude, you're a total piece of shit.
I guess so.
Oh, so speaking of like crazy things, I've been on like. For some reason, I've been on this heavy metal kick.
Like music-wise?
I've built like this YouTube playlist called Rock Motherfucker Rock.
Are you talking heavy metal, or are you talking modern sort of tongue-in-cheek?
I am talking like
Steel Panther heavy metal.
Crazy fucking guitar riffs, opera quality voices. I'm gonna mispronounce this guy's name. But he's just like, I was like, like the Dragon Force and kind of like that kind of stuff like that, where it's like crazy Motley Crue, Scorpions,
so like
Dire Straits, Poison,
glam metal, heavy.
Yeah,
metal.
like all of that. But I also like some of this other stuff. So, what the hell is his name? I don't know how to spell it. It's Yngwie Malmsteen. He's like the Yngwie Malmsteen. He is like insane. He's like got this crazy. He looks like Jareth from Labyrinth.
Okay.
Dude, he shreds. It's insane. It's kind of like the Dragon Force song "Through the Fire and the Flames." They're kind of like
it's Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yes, that's him. Yeah, that's it.
Arpeggios from Hell is one of the top YouTube videos.
Rising Force, Riot in the Dungeons. It's like kind of like they said it's Neolithical. Like
Beethoven's Fifth. All right.
It's fucking, dude, he's insane. And they're just like, I don't know what's happening. I was just like, dude, I went from like making the playlist for the trap music, and then switched to this all of a sudden. I'm just nuts. But
all right, well maybe I'll drop some heavy metal beats underneath this one instead. A little guitar riff out of us out. We're at 1:45, so we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
What else?
We could do that. I mean, we could keep going too.
We could. Whatever you want.
Oh, tell me about that. Tell me about that toy store. Speaking of all our GI Joe talk, you went to some dope toy store.
Yeah, I had lunch yesterday with my lady, and we right in the same parking lot of the sushi joint we were at was this place called Toy Fusion, and it had sort of a GI Joe-ish logo. So I popped in, and just a classic toy store. So they buy, sell, and collect. So I went in, they had some classic G.I. Joes, nothing that jumped out at me like I have to buy it. For example, if they had a Cobra Commander or a Destro or something like that, I would have considered it. They did have these dope-ass posters, and I'll put them on the 7-ish Things page, of every character and a bunch of the cardboard cutouts of the vehicles and things like that. It was and the backing, the cardboard backing for all the characters on one poster. It was pretty sick.
Nice, the card backs.
Yeah, I'd consider getting that. It was like $40. It was a print, so it wasn't the actual card backs. It was the actual card backs for $40. I would have bought it in a heartbeat. I was thinking about this, though, is that I don't collect anything.
You need to start.
So I'm thinking about collecting things, and the thing that I was thinking about collecting was G.I. Joes. And not in a... I don't care if they're in the package or not. I'm not one of those. I want it sealed in the package to gain... This is not a collection that I hope would gain value that I'd sell one day. But rather I just want the figures. I think it would be fun to collect the figures.
I have some.
Yeah, so I think that would be fun.
Of course I do, right?
Yeah. So I might start kind of searching for that on eBay and whatnot. I think that would be fun. I think there's some...
Well, you can buy the loose figures. The problem is they don't stand up, so you need to buy the little stands.
Yeah, I would definitely buy the stands, for sure.
So we should do next week. We should talk about our favorite GI Joe characters. I sent you all the intros. How the intros had changed.
Yeah, but
did you see that video?
Yeah, I did. I didn't watch it. I saw that you sent it to me. The difference, by the way, in the prices, if you just collect the figures, say for example, a Sergeant Slaughter, which was a special character that you had to send away from. Sergeant Slaughter in the box still is a $250 on eBay, $212 on eBay piece,
or $7
in the box, or if you just buy the figure. It's $12.
Yeah. Who cares?
Here's the figure.
Well, I open them anyways. So I collect a bunch of stuff, and the collectors will get pissed because I'll tell them I'm going to open it. I'm not going to sell it to you. I was like, hey, you will have money.
Yeah. With file.
Yeah, you will,
$9.
Yeah, you will, bitch.
Yeah.
You're going to sell it to me, and I'm going to fucking YouTube and open that shit. I like to see how it felt. I had a wonderful childhood. It takes me back. I want to open it. Just like it would have been on Christmas or a birthday. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I was thinking about doing that, getting a little shelf and starting to collect some of it. And I'd want to play with them with my kids. I think Cairo would like them. I think Mazzy would like them.
Yeah, when the kids come over, sometimes I let them play with my Battle Beast that I have.
Yeah, do you remember Muscles?
The loose ones.
Muscles would be good.
Yep, I've got some Muscles.
I think it'd be kind of...
But I have to... But here's the deal, though. When the kids come over and play with this stuff, I got to I got to check them pockets when you leave. Just keeping an honest soldier honest.
Empty. I'm gonna need you guys to empty your pockets, and that's...
Put your whatever sand or wrappers you got. Take that out too.
Right. You know what? Speaking of which, I have no love for some of the original G.I. Joe characters like Duke. This is another topic for another time, but Duke, General Hawk.
You got beef with Duke? What about Dusty?
No, don't care. Flint, don't care. I like the secondary characters. I like Beachhead and Dial Tone, and everybody loves Snake Eyes. It's hard to not like
Storm Shadow. Well, dude, we're gonna do this on a different segment.
We should, because I love Quick Kick, who I bitched about is not wearing shoes ever, but Quick Kick was one of my favorites.
I'm surprised you don't like Dr. Mindbender, considering you look like him.
Love Dr. I'm gonna grow a handlebar mustache out for Halloween this year and go as Dr. Mindbender. I'm gonna monocle that shit, get the cape, the flowing cape, the weird crotch strapped bullet holster thing suspenders.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Like a cod piece.
Yeah, like a strappy cod piece with a monocle, and go to a fetish party as Dr. Mindbender.
Hello, sir. How would you rate?
Is it Halloween?
How would you rate?
Or...
How would you rate my cod piece?
Yeah.
All right. Let's save that topic for fucking sure. That's definitely a good one.
Yeah, we should definitely talk more about that. I would.
Anything special that you're drinking this week?
Oh, no. Well, I made some sangria. Yeah, so sangria for sure. It's sangria season. Sangria's. I made some.
That's a good play. That's a good move. Okay.
Some Tempranillo, bottle of Tempranillo, some citrus fruits, a little bit of brandy, a little bit of pomegranate juice in there, just to liven it up a little bit. A little bit of I don't use sugar. A lot of times you're supposed to put some granulated sugar in a.
Nah, bro.
But I put just a little bit of stevia in there to sweeten it up a little bit because it was kind of a dry Tempranillo. Tempranillo is a little bit of a spicy varietal.
Gotcha.
Oh, so good. Oh my God. And it's one of those, because you pour brandy in it, it's suspiciously alcoholic. You don't realize. You drink it like a glass of wine, and you go, "Damn, I feel fucked up. I've had 2 of these, and I'm jacked
crunk
up
on this shit."
Yeah, but you've had a lot of booze. So yes, sangria got turned warm here in Sacramento finally, so we started drinking the sangria, and in preparation for our new bedroom porch balcony, where I'm sure we will sip on cocktails during adult hours in the new house.
So I went to the liquor store, got some whiskey and stuff, and I was kind of like, man, I need to get some more scotch. I had a nice Macallan 15 that I drank it all. Thanks, Scott, for the help on that one. So then we went to Total Wine, and we bought I bought some Johnny Blue, which is my favorite.
Yeah,
I love that.
Amy and I call Total Wine Spectacular.
Yeah,
So
that's just a fair assessment.
we don't have our kids. Some weekend, we'll bust out. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's just go down to Spectacular and see what we don't have. And I'll often come back with, if you can find it, look for that High West, a Midsummer's Night Dram. A Midwinter's Night Dram is what it's called.
Midwinter's Night Dram.
From High West.
You remember when we had that?
Yeah, we had that at that bar here in Sacramento.
That whiskey bar,
Yeah.
Whiskey shopping that day. That was expensive. Night.
It was an expensive night. It's not, that bottle isn't even that expensive. It's a $200 bottle if you can find it. But it's good, man. That is a good bottle of booze right there. One of these times, you and I, Nikki and Amy, we ought to get out to the Kentucky Derby for
Dude,
trip.
And fucking dress the fuck up.
Yeah, seersucker suit. We'll get tickets down in the pit. Like, we can get fancy tickets, I'm sure, but we should get tickets down in the pit. We should wear the seersucker suits, get a nice hotel, and then take time afterwards to go down Whiskey Row. Like, drive down.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Go down to Wild Turkey and Jim Beam and Jack Daniels and Johnny Walker. They're all down there.
That's amazing. That sounds
like a good 4 or 5 day trip. And you come back and say, "Hey man, how was that trip?" And you go, "Fuck if I know. I have no idea."
Savage.
So we should
For
put
sure.
that on the list. But remember, also Vegas next year for Bailey Cake's 21st birthday.
Hey, shout out! I want to give a shout out to Braxton. He's one of our listeners that's listened to every episode.
Oh yeah.
He sent us a little message.
Braxton, listen to every episode. I appreciate that. I'm going to give a shout out to Terrence. He's our only listener in Europe that I definitively know about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Terrence, what's up, dog?
Yeah. And apologies to Terrence for how many times I say fuck. Actually, that's not true. I don't apologize. You can suck it up, bud.
You
Suck
kidding
it up,
me?
big
I
boy.
was listening. Oh, do you know that my mother and my grandmother listen to our show?
Yeah? That's awesome. I will not.
Yeah, my 86-year-old grandma she sent me a note. She said, "I love your podcast. It's hilarious." And I'm thinking like,
Shout out to Grandma.
I was like,
what's up?
yeah, I was
What's
like,
up?
fuck, I cuss a lot.
What's up, girl? How you doing? How you doing, Grandma? What you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Grandma? Yo, I don't know what your situation is, but I'm unmarried and I could be Ryan's granddaddy. What's up? What's up?
You're always trying to be my daddy.
What's
Now
up,
you're gonna
girl?
be my granddaddy.
What's up,
You
girl?
just one up.
Oh, hey, I don't know if she listens or not, but shout out to Erin because the place where you and I originally worked together, today was her last day at that company.
Yep.
And so if she does listen to
fucking-
this, baby, you're free. You're free. Fly free.
Fly free.
Fly free. You are
just
free. The shackles are gone.
You stepped right off of that ship, just like fucking
Jack
what the hell
Sparrow,
is his name?
right onto the
Just
dock.
like Jack Sparrow. That bitch is sinking and just stepped right off that motherfucker.
You're free. You're free. Talk all the shit you want. Welcome to the other side. The grass really is greener, and it's rolled in
is.
paper. Take a hit. Take a breath. Relax. It's over.
It's over.
Shout out to Aaron. All right, I got nothing else for you though.
I think I'm good.
You're good. Cool.
Yeah, dude, gonna enjoy the weekend.
I don't get to enjoy the weekend because I got to edit this shit. But I'll edit it down. I'll make sure my volume and my levels are correct this time. I got some complaints that I didn't adjust it last time, and then
Yeah, you were too quiet. They like it when you're loud and you come through and they can like.
and I can yell at
Hear you.
the leaf blower outside my window. And fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy right in the stupid fucking leaf blower. Damn it.
Nerd.
All right,
I'm gonna open the door and say, "Be a nerd."
we're done. We're done. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time.
This has been the Wizard and the Warrior 7-ish things. We're out.
Out.